Imagine your mind is a browser with 40 tabs open, some playing music, some buffering, and one is stuck on an important task you can't click into. If that sounds familiar, stick around. In the next 10 minutes, we'll unpack what ADHD really looks like in everyday life, why it isn't just bad focus, and how science, strategies, and small changes can make a huge difference. I'll share surprising strengths, common myths, practical tools, and ways to talk about ADHD with the people you care about. Let's get into it. Attention Deficit or Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects attention, impulse control, and activity levels. But that definition only scratches the surface. Primarily inattentive. Think of ADHD as a different brain wiring, not a moral failing. It shows up in how someone plans, remembers, and reacts. Diagnosis is clinical, based on patterns over time and impact on daily life.
ADHD symptoms often begin in childhood, but evolve over time. Kids might be labeled as hyper or daydreamers, while teens face impulsivity and school challenges. Adults frequently describe chronic lateness, messy spaces, or jobs that don't fit their brains. Some people outgrow certain behaviors, but the underlying wiring usually stays. Importantly, symptoms must impair daily functioning, missing bills, struggling in relationships, or cycling through jobs.
Observing how patterns change with age helps in tailoring support and strategies. What's happening in the brain? ADHD involves differences in executive function, the brain's management system for planning, working memory, and self-control. Neurochemically, dopamine plays a starring role. Pathways that regulate motivation and reward are less efficient. That makes boring tasks feel like pulling teeth, and urgent tasks feel electric. Brain imaging shows variability in structure and connectivity. But remember, biology doesn't equal destiny.
Understanding the science helps us build humane, evidence-based strategies instead of judgment. Let's clear up myths. ADHD isn't just a kid's disorder. It's not caused by bad parenting, and it's not the same as laziness. Media stereotypes, the unfocused teen or the scatterbrained genius, miss most people's reality. Stigma makes people avoid diagnosis, hide symptoms, or refuse treatment. That silence fuels shame. Talking openly, using accurate language, and challenging misconceptions helps everyone.
Real lives are messy. Compassion and curiosity beat blame every time. ADHD also brings real strengths. Many people with ADHD are creative, energetic, and great problem solvers. There's a superpower called hyperfocus, the ability to intensely concentrate on something you love for hours. When channeled, that can produce extraordinary work. ADHD brains often thrive in fast-paced, varied environments and can think outside the box. The goal isn't to erase differences, but to harness them, match skills to roles, and build systems that amplify strengths while minimizing struggles. People with ADHD frequently experience strong emotions, quick shifts in mood, frustration tolerance that's lower than average, and something called rejection-sensitive dysphoria, intense pain from perceived rejection or criticism. These emotional experiences are real and often overlooked by clinicians. Naming and validating them is the first step.
Techniques like labeling emotions, brief grounding exercises, and therapy focused on emotion regulation can reduce the hurt and stop reactive patterns from taking over relationships and self-confidence. Small environmental shifts deliver big wins. Create visual routines, checklists, color-coded calendars, and launch stations for keys and wallets. Break large projects into 15 to 25-minute chunks with clear next steps. Use physical anchors, a dedicated workspace, timers, and minimalist setup to reduce distractions. Build external reminders for habits. Set alarms for breaks, use sticky notes and sightlines, and automate what you can.
The point? Design your life to support your brain instead of fighting it.
Tech can be a friend when chosen intentionally. Try apps for time blocking, habit streaks, and task prioritization. The Pomodoro method, 25 minutes focused, 5 minutes break, helps convert intention into action. Use voice memos for quick capture and calendar alerts for important deadlines. But beware of novelty traps. Too many productivity apps can create more noise than help. Pick a simple system and stick to it.
Pair tools with accountability. A partner, coach, or weekly review keeps momentum going. Evidence-based treatments include stimulant medications, non-stimulants, and psychotherapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, adapted for ADHD. Medication can reduce core symptoms by improving focus and impulse control. Therapy teaches compensatory strategies, planning, and emotional skills. Treatment is individualized. What works for one person may not for another. Monitor outcomes and side effects, and combine approaches when possible.
The best plans blend biology, behavior change, and environmental supports. ADHD affects relationships. Missed messages, forgotten plans, and emotional reactivity create tension. Start conversations with curiosity, not blame. Use concrete examples. Describe specific patterns and their impact, and propose practical solutions like shared calendars, check-ins, and intentional transition time. Partners can learn to prompt gently rather than police. Therapists or coaches can mediate tricky discussions.
Advocacy is both individual and systemic. You don't have to navigate it alone. ADHD is complex. It's a mix of challenges and gifts. If you're watching and think, "That's me," start small. Pick one strategy to try this week. If you suspect ADHD, consider a clinical evaluation and gather notes about patterns over time. Reach out to a trusted person and normalize asking for support. Share this video if it helped, and subscribe for more evidence-based mental health insights. You don't need to perfect every system overnight. Progress is built one tiny habit at a time.